today I want to talk about what is it that Naam is able to do for us. The reason I started this charity and gave it the name Nanak Naam, because if you boil down what is Sikhi, Sikhi is a message started by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and his message was Naam. But what is Naam? So in today's talk, I want us to talk a little bit about our thinking, our mind, why our mind has the issues that it has, and what is Naam, and how does Naam and Naam Simran help deal with those issues. Naam Simran, if we translate it to English, is a very complicated thing to translate to. It's not really meditation. It's more than that. And I've come to the closest definition I can, which is Mantra-Mindfulness. Because it isn't a meditation. Naam is something more than that, something 24 hours a day. When you think about meditation, you think about sitting down in a position for half an hour or an hour. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji talks about 24 hours meditation. And that's where we look at using mantra and using Naam for 24 hours a day. So mindfulness is a closer idea. So I like to think of Naam Simran as mantra mindfulness. Using a mantra, having mindfulness around it, having a way to apply that in your life. But how does Naam solve our problems? This is what I want to cover today. How do we transform our problems using Naam? And hopefully by the end of it, we'll actually go through some actual mantras and see, can we also apply them in English? Because I don't know about you, but I think in English. I don't think in Punjabi. I certainly don't think in the language of Gurbani. So how do we take that and actually say, is it relevant to me if I think in English? So hopefully we'll start looking at English ways to interpret Gurbani and actually think, can I use those? So why is Naam so powerful? Gurbani describes Naam as a medicine. But in order to know what medicine to take, the first thing you need to do is you need to diagnose the problem. Otherwise, if you go to the doctor and you say, "Doctor, I need some medicine," he's going to ask you, "Well, what's wrong?" So first you need to understand what is wrong. And Gurbani says that we're all ill. The Guru says, "Sansar rogi naam daru mail lage sachna." Guru Nanak Dev Ji says the whole world is diseased. They say right now, mental health is becoming a really popular discussion topic. They say that at any one point, 1 in 4 of us will experience mental health problems. That means in any one point of our lives, look around you, in this room right now, a quarter of us are dealing with mental health problems. That's according to the West. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says something even more drastic. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, everyone that I'm looking at is diseased. So you and me think, well, hang on, there's nothing wrong with me, I'm alright. Thank you very much. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, no, you're not alright. You think you're alright, but when we present to you what the real meaning of being well is, then you'll understand that you're not alright. So first thing we need to do is we need to diagnose the problem. Otherwise, you're taking the medicine of Naam, you're doing Naam Simran, you come to the Gurudwara, you do a bit of Mool Mantra Jap, Waheguru Mantra Jap, and you think, yeah, it's okay, but it's not really changing me in any way. That's because you don't know what it's trying to change. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Sansar rogi, the whole world is diseased, and Naam is the medicine. Naam daru, mail lage sachbana. And without understanding such, now Guru Nanak Dev Ji is introducing a new concept, truth. So Naam and truth, Guruji is combining. Without truth, without an understanding, filth is attaching to you. So Guruji is using some cryptic words here. It's like, what is the filth? What is the truth? But as you spend more time with Guru, you actually understand what these words are. So let us think about what are the sorts of problems that we deal with in our life every day. I already mentioned some of these. That We suffer from depression, anxiety, stress. We all deal with stress. Just be late for an appointment by 5 minutes and you see what happens. I do this every day. Every day I take the kids and I drop them to school, and every day they're late. And after a couple of minutes, I'm all stressed and hot and bothered, and I'm shouting at them, come on, get out the door. So that daily stress, and I think to myself, I do this every day, what's wrong with me? Right? So within a couple of minutes of being late, the stress starts building up inside you. You don't know what to do, you don't know how to deal with yourself. So, what are our biggest problems? Gurbani tells us what our biggest problems are. Notice that Gurbani, we think Guru Granth Sahib Ji is talking about God all the time, don't we? But Guru Granth Sahib Ji spends more time talking about you and your problems. Because the Guru was here, he walked around and he said, everywhere that I see, everyone that I look at is suffering. Guru Nanak Dev Ji famously said, Nanak dukhiya sab sansar, nobody is happy. So what's Guru Nanak Dev Ji going to come here and start talking to you about God when he needs to help you deal with your happiness? If you want to understand mental health, Gurbani has been talking about mental health for at least 500 years. But we're too scared of it, of what Guruji is saying. Most of us think, oh, I can't understand it, it's quite difficult, the language is too cryptic, I can't read, I can't write in this language, I'm not good enough. So many people say, I'm not good enough. How many of you would say that if Guru Nanak Dev Ji was visiting Ilford today, how many of you would say, I'm not good enough to go see him? Or would you be throwing yourselves over each other to say, I need to be in the front of the queue because I don't know if I'm going to get this opportunity again? You have Guru Nanak Dev Ji here. This is Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So come to your Guru is here for you. Come to your Guru and say, Guru, I'm struggling with this. And if you can't understand what the Guru is saying, find someone who can help you and say, I always say, people say these English translations of Gurbani are not accurate. You're right, they're not accurate, but they're a great place to start. Start with that. And then over time you'll see why even those are limited. You can't translate Gurbani. Gurbani is something unique. The words that the Gurus use don't easily translate into other languages, but that doesn't mean that we don't use them. Stop being afraid of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Go to the Guru and you'll see the Guru's talking about your problems. So Guruji starts by saying, well, I'll tell you 5 problems that you've got. They're called Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Let's deal with that. So these are problems that we face. The first problem that we face is that we have desires. And Guruji tells us desires are a huge issue in our life. You know what we're dealing with is that we're dealing with a conflict here. Because the world tells you, be ambitious. Go out there, have the biggest, wildest dreams and follow your dreams. How many people say that? Oh, no, you get all these celebrities saying, work hard and follow your dreams. What they mean is have unrealistic expectations and then spend the rest of your life trying to chase those unrealistic expectations, and maybe 1 out of 1,000,000 of you will actually achieve that. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, I'm going to offer you a better solution. Don't have unrealistic expectations. In fact, don't think that your happiness is going to come tomorrow, because you don't know if you're going to have a tomorrow. And if you don't know that you're going to have a tomorrow, happiness is available to you this very second. But there's a reason why you don't know happiness. And I say you, but I'm pointing at me at the same time. I'm not someone special. By the way, please don't be fooled by anybody sitting in Pana, yeah? Don't be fooled that somebody sitting on stage is some sort of expert, this guy doesn't have any problems. You only have to ask my wife how enlightened I am, she'll tell you. Right? You have to ask my children, they'll tell you exactly what dad's like. So don't be fooled, don't think, oh, it's okay for that guy, he knows the language and he speaks it and he's been doing bar since he was born. Don't think like that. We all go through these problems, and the reason I'm sitting here today is because I believe that the Guru has helped me with some of these problems, and I want to share. You know, if you watch a really good movie, right? What's the thing that you want to do? If you hear like a great song, You don't want to keep it to yourself. You want to start telling everyone. You say, hey, have you watched this movie? It's really good. This is what I'm doing. I'm saying, hey, have you heard what Guruji is saying? It's really applicable to you. It's really relevant to you. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji starts by telling you about your desires. I'm really lucky every day I get to read a Hukamnama at home before the kids go to school. We spend about 10 minutes and we're going through the Hukamnama. And I try and simplify some concepts that are in Gurbani into just simple words, because my children are like 7 and 6 years old, they're very young. So I have to explain to them desires. They say, Daddy, what does desires mean? I said, I'll tell you what it means. It means every time in your mind you say, I want, Guruji says that is a suffering. Every time in your mind you say, I want, you think that sounds a bit weird. But actually, if I explain it to you, you'll see how crystal clear Guruji actually is. When you say, I want something, what you're actually saying is, I want it because when I get it, I think I'll be a little bit happier. Anything. You can apply this to anything. From the smallest item of food to your biggest dreams in your life. When you say, I want, what you're saying is, when I get it, I will be happy then. And what you're really saying is, I'm not happy now. I want, remember that. Any time an I want, a desire comes up inside you, know that following that desire is leading to your suffering. You're going to be unhappy because what you're saying right now is, I'm already unhappy. And when I get that thing, then I'll be happier. Whether it's a new car, whether it's to get married, whether it's to give up something or to start something. The moment you think I want, you're basically saying, I am sad right now. I'm unhappy right now. So I want desires are linked to your unhappiness. What are the other things that we deal with? Gurbani talks about more, your attachments. Your attachments are also a big part of your problem. And we can be attached to anything. You can be attached to your possessions, to your family, to your thoughts. You can be attached to your thoughts. Have you ever had an argument with someone where you're fearlessly arguing your point? You get really angry about it. You get really fierce about it. And then later on you think, actually I was actually wrong in that. But I'm never going to tell that guy. You can become so angry just because somebody has a different opinion to you. Think about that for a moment. Just because a thought exists in your head and you're attached to that thought, somebody comes along with another thought, you're so attached to that thought that you're willing to shout and scream about it. So Gurbani is saying, you know, the problem isn't the other guy with his thought, the problem is how attached you are to your thought. I want is a thought, and I like. That this is mine, I own this. And the biggest attachment that you have is to your life. The biggest attachment you have is me. I'm attached to this body. Take away anything else, but don't take this away from me. Don't take my mind away from me. You are attached to the fact that you're alive. And Gurbani reminds you, guys, this ain't gonna last. This body's not gonna last. Why are you so attached to it? You know it's gonna go. If I ever try and talk about death at home, you might notice maybe your families do this, maybe your grandmothers or your mothers might do this. They say, oh, don't talk about death. Like somehow by talking about death, you're going to invite death into your house. Do you have that? Like, don't talk about death. Gurbani talks about death all the time. And your parents and your family, and certainly Western culture will say that if you talk about death, oh, that's very sad, it's very morbid. Gurbani doesn't use that kind of language. Gurbani says it's a fact. You're all going to die, let's deal with it. It's like a test coming up, and everybody's like, oh, let's not talk about that test. And there's one guy in the corner, he's practicing away and he's learning and he's preparing for that test. And then he's saying, guys, actually if you prepare for this test, you'll be alright. But everyone's like, no, let's not talk about that test. And when you die, the ultimate test, when it happens, we go kicking and screaming. No, don't take my life away from me. But Gurbani said, but you knew that was coming if you spent a little bit of time preparing for it. You would have been prepared. When death comes, you're ready. Guru Gobind Singh Ji taught the Khalsa this, and we sing proudly, Jab aapki od nidan bane atahi ran mein tab jooj mara. The Khalsa saying, when it's the time, don't just let me die doing Jagare and celebrating. That's the readiness of the Khalsa. Let me die. You know, the Khalsa used to be called Akalis, beyond death. Why? Because they dealt with their death. And we're not dealing with these things. We think, oh, I don't want to talk about that. It's a bit serious. Let's just talk about simple, nice things. But Gurbani is saying, if you keep avoiding these things, that's the reason why you're going to get sad. How many people lose their mind when somebody dies and they say that was unexpected? You hear sometimes people saying, oh, they died too young. It wasn't their time. Like somehow you know what their time is for dying. But Gurbani teaches you that you don't know when is your time. You don't even know if you breathe in, if that breath is going to come out. You don't know. But we're attached. We say, no, I don't want to die. Guru says, if you deal with this, you'll be okay. So the biggest problem is that we are attached to I am. Ho main, I am. You think, let everybody take anything away from me, but don't take my I am. So we need to understand what is I am. Who are you? What are you? Everyone, how many of you in this room would think, I know myself? You'll all think, yeah, I know myself. So I like to play a little game where I get you to think about who you are. So if I was to ask you a question, I've not met most of you. If I was to ask you a question, I'd say, hi, my name is Satpal Singh. Who are you? What's the first thing you'll tell me? You'll give me your name. Yeah, the first thing you'll give me is your name. Then I say, okay, tell me a little bit more. And you'll give me, oh, I'm such and such, like, this is my job. You might give me your occupation. I'm a student, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I work at the airport, whatever it is. And I say, tell me some more. And then you'll think a little bit more. Okay, I'm a male, I'm a female, I'm a father, I'm a son, I have children, I have a wife. You'll tell me all these things. I say, tell me some more. Tell me some more. And if I keep probing, then you start thinking about all your likes and your dislikes. So I don't know what else I can tell him. You say, okay, I'm a Man United supporter, I'm a Chelsea supporter, I like this, I don't like this, I eat this, I don't eat this. You start telling me all of these things. And slowly, what you see is what you're doing is you're building up a picture of what you think you are. I'm not asking you a trick question by any means, right? I'm just asking you, who are you? And you start giving me, you go into your mind and you start looking at all of the information that you know, that you've stored away about yourself. Even down to what football team you support. So you begin to give me a catalogue of things, and I will say to you every single time, no, but who are you? Let's think about the answers that you give me. Your name. How many people in this room chose their own name? It's not yours. It was given to you. And you're so proud of your name. And we get so happy when we meet someone else with the same name as us. But it's not your name. It was given to you. How many of you chose your body? How many of you chose, I'm going to be born a man or I'm going to be born a woman? You didn't make that decision? Well, then your body is not yours either. How many of you chose who your parents were going to be? Did you choose whether you would be educated or not? Most of the time that was influenced by us. Even your occupation I would argue, isn't your choice. Like, I'm imagining there aren't very many fishermen here. Why aren't you all fishermen? Because you don't live anywhere near the sea. And there's no fishermen in your family. But if you were living by the coast, or if you lived near a farm, and your parents were farmers and your grandparents were farmers, do you think you'd have a lot of choice? You'd just become a farmer. You'd become a fisherman. You run the family business. You think you've made these choices, but yet all of these choices have been made based on your external circumstances, things that have nothing to do with you. So who are you? You say, oh, I'm a Man United supporter, I chose that one myself. But maybe something happens down the line and you change that. Because it's changeable. At some point you could change your mind. Some people say, oh, I'm a doctor. But you weren't always a doctor. At some point you were a student. At some point you're going to be retired. So who are you? So what we do is, I have this analogy about what we do. It's like we build up a house. And at the base of this house is all the things that can't move. Like if you say, I'm a woman or I'm a man, that's like a brick that you place in like the foundation stone, like I am a man. I can't change that, that's never going to change. Like my name is this, that's never going to change. These are my parents, that's never going to change. So you start building the foundation of what is your identity. And then on top of that, you start putting more and more bricks, and each brick is something that you've placed on there saying, I am this and I am that, and I'm a vegetarian, and I'm a scorpion, and I'm an Aquarius, and I used to be a dentist, but now I'm a doctor, and you start building all these things. And then at the very top are the very trivial things that can change, like your likes and your dislikes. Like you say, I used to drink a lot of coffee, but now I don't drink coffee, now I drink herbal tea. So what was before? You had a brick that said, I'm a coffee drinker. That's who I am. I love coffee. And over time, somebody convinces you that that's not a good thing to have. You give that brick away. You say, okay, take that one. Let's replace it with another one. Now a person that doesn't do that. Even if you say, I used to be an alcoholic, that's an identity that you hold on to. I am an alcoholic. And then you give up drinking. You say, I'm no longer an alcoholic. You swap your identity with something else. So this I am is built up of all of these things that are actually nothing to do with you. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji is telling you, you've built an entire house of things that are nothing to do with you, but you're not any of those things. You know what you are? You're the light bulb inside the house. You are the light inside the house. But you don't do that. So what you do is you have this lovely house with a nice extension and all these things. This is my body, this is my this. I'm a BMW owner and I drive all these things. And so you've made a house and you say, this is me. And when I ask you, who are you? You start showing me all these bricks. This is me. And you don't want that foundation to shake. You don't want to shake any of that. You don't like it when somebody comes along and says, why do you have that? Why do you believe that? And you get very defensive about it. No, I believe that this is mine. Don't we all do this? This is who I am. Don't shake me. This is my house. And imagine you're inside this house with a million arms holding onto every single one of these bricks. They say, don't touch it. Don't move it. If you move it, it's all going to crumble. Those million hands are called attachments. And Guru Sahib is teaching us, you don't have to let go of the house, you don't have to shatter the whole house down, you simply have to let go of your attachments to those things, because guess what? None of those things are going to go with you. None of those things are going to go with you. Your body's not going to go with you, your house that you live in, your occupation, your thoughts, your beliefs, they're not going to go with you. The arguments that you have with everyone else about, no, this is the right way, and I support this guy, and I do this, and we should all do this, and the world should be like this, even those opinions are not going to go with you. So what is left? What is the thing that is actually you that you've become unaware of? And Gurbani tells you, you are the light. Man tu jyot sarup hai. You are the light. Apna mool pachan. Recognize what you are. But we don't know what we are. We don't know what our problems are. And then we sit with our identity and our ego and our self-identity, I am, this is me, and we try and add another brick, I do Naam Simran. Like that's another brick that we need. But Naam Simran isn't just another brick like a gold crown that we put on. Look at me, I'm an Amritari. Look at me, I used to be a Manmukh, now I'm a Gurmukh. That's another gold crown that you put on top. It's like an extension on top of it. You get a loft conversion. Yeah, we become Amritaris, we become Gursikhs, and we think we're even better than before. Like I'm a better version of my old self. No, that's just adding to your I am. And Gurbani says, as long as you're adding to your I am, you're adding to your problems. That I am is the problem. So if this is the problem, how does Naam help? How is Naam a solution? You start by first understanding that none of this stuff is yours. You didn't make any of these things. So where did these things come from? So we walk around our whole life like this is my life. This is my story. And Gurbani comes along and gives you a better context and says, you know what, this is really not your story. I'll give you a simple example. How old do you think you are? Everybody got a number, like what your age is? Your age is based on the fact the day that your body came out of your mother, that is the day that it starts. Well, why don't we add 9 months to that? Because your body was there. Why does it start the day your body comes out of your mother? You're at least 9 months older than that, right? You know, the mother, when she was a young woman, the egg, the cell that made you was there in her right from the day she was born. What are you made of? You're made of 2 cells, a cell from your father and a cell from your mother. One cell that made you, essentially the starting block of your life, was inside your mother from the day that she was born. In fact, when your mother was being grown in your grandmother's stomach, one of the first things grown in a female fetus is their eggs. The egg that you are made of, that your body is made of, was inside your mother when she was inside your grandmother. Now, how old are you? How old do you think you are? You're probably about 100 years old. So even your own age you don't know. What do you know about yourself? We don't know anything about ourselves, and we're so proud of ourselves. I turned 40 today. Everybody loves celebrating their birthdays. I turned 50, I turned 20, you do big celebrations. I do the same thing, don't get me wrong, I'm doing the same mistakes as you do. What is Naam doing? Naam's giving you a perspective and saying the story that you think is your story is really not your story. In fact, it's probably your mother's story. This is your mother's story, or at least your grandmother's story. But where did your grandmother come from? You wouldn't be here if it wasn't an entire lineage of every human being before you, certainly in your family tree. So whose story are you living? The reality is, the fact that you're here is part of maybe a 200, 300,000 year old story for that person to be born, married to that person, they gave birth to this child, that gave birth to this child. Your story, this body, is one tiny little fraction of a very long story. And you say, this is my life? This is not your life. This is life. And life doesn't belong to you or me. It belongs to life. So we need to start understanding that this isn't me, that the whole thing is part of a big cosmic play. There's something else going on, and I'm just one tiny little cog in this big machine that's going on, and I don't really know what this big story is. So we need to recognize that there is something greater than us going on. And this is where Gurbani has used a lot of analogies. like you're a drop of water in the ocean and all these sorts of things. There's entire lectures that I've done on YouTube around what is Ik, what is God, what is Naam. And I'm just giving you a little taste for it here because I really want to move on to how does Naam help us in our life. But the key thing to understanding, this is not you, this is you. This is actually the divine story. This is his story, it's not my story. So inside you, there is something that's alive. Let's forget about all the other things that we've talked about. Are you alive? Anybody in here not alive? Put your hand up. You're all alive, well done. You are alive. Let's just think about that for a moment. What is that? I explain this to my children, that imagine a toy being so proud of himself, look, I can move like a robot. Imagine you're a robot. And you're so proud that you can move and you can do all these things. But you don't understand that the very thing that's making you move is the batteries. If I take the battery out, you're nothing. What are you without the batteries? And in the same way, you're so proud. Look at my body and this and that and all these things. And we're like taking selfies and posting them online. And you're so proud, look at me. But if you don't understand that there's a battery inside you that's keeping this whole robot alive, and that battery is your life energy. What is that life energy? If you don't have any respect for that life energy that's inside you, and if that doesn't blow your mind, that wow, there is some energy that's keeping this body alive, and if that energy goes, this story is finished. Guruji is trying to make you aware there's something inside you, and the life that's inside me is the same as the life inside you, is the same as the life inside every single one of you. It's one life. There's this one energy that's inside all of us. And that energy is worth our attention and our praise. It's like all the toys getting together and they realize, wow, it's the batteries that make us move. Otherwise, without the batteries, we don't move. This is the thing that we should be worshipping. We shouldn't be worshipping ourselves and say, look how great I am. We should look how great this thing is that keeps us moving. That's exactly what Guruji is trying to say. Look at the thing that's keeping you alive. Because when that goes, everything goes. The light gets switched off. Life inside you is worthy of a bit of your time. And you think, actually, that's pretty amazing. So now, going back to the subject, is to become aware of this vibration. In order to understand what Naam is, you have to know what Omkar is. In order to know what Omkar is, you have to know what Ik is. Luckily, these videos are already out there on YouTube right now. You can go and have a look at them. So the whole universe is vibrating with this vibration. And Naam is this vibration that's going out throughout the whole universe. You could call it Naad. You can call it lots of different things Gurbani uses. And it's in control of everything. You are not doing nothing. Like, I'm always amazed, like if you look at our bodies, especially like when you look at young children and how their bodies change, sometimes I look at my wife and I think, look at this child, he was this big a few years ago, now he's this big. What? Who is doing that? We're not doing that. All we're doing is feeding him some carrots and stuff, and all of a sudden he's just growing. And the baby teeth fall out and the new teeth come in, and they themselves are like a bit wonderstruck, like, what is this process that's happening inside me? Isn't it amazing? There's stuff going on here, like, you have eyes, you can see. Isn't that phenomenal? There's something that allows you to hear. You're not doing any of that. So Naam is in charge of all this. Another word for this is Hukam. The system, the matrix. Am I showing my age? That's quite an old film now, isn't it? You must see the Matrix if you haven't seen it. You will understand Sikhi in a 2.5-hour movie much better than any other way. And so there's a system, and this system is called Hukam, and it's just in charge, and it's alive, and it's buzzing, and it's working. And that system is doing everything, and we're doing nothing. That system decides, you know when you go to sleep at night, that system decides that you're going to wake up in the morning. How many of you go to sleep and think, I'm in control. I know when I'm going to wake up. I'm going to set an alarm and I'll wake myself up. You think you wake yourself up, but you could just as easily go to sleep and the whole system just collapses and you fall asleep and that's it, you don't wake up. The very fact that you wake up in the morning should be like, wow, the batteries woke me up. And Gurbani tells you to do exactly that. When you wake up in the morning, remember the battery inside you. Remember that power, that Shakti, that aliveness inside you. Naam. And so Naam is to know it, to feel it, to recognize it, to hear that every sound in the universe is not your sound. The birds are chirping. Isn't that amazing? And when you've got a bit of a breeze, then the trees start hissing. That's all the sound of Hukam. Everything that you see is this aliveness. Notice I'm avoiding the word God. Because when we think about God, we think about a guy with a white beard in the sky, Mr. God. Yeah? We don't have to use that word God. There's plenty of other words that we can use. Because if I ask you, where is God? Everyone's like, I don't know. But let me simplify it. Where is life? Is life here right now? You say yes. Let's take an even easier word. The universe. Where's the universe? You'll say everywhere. Is the universe inside you? Yes. Is the universe outside of you? Yes. Are you made of the universe? Yes. Is the same elements that make you the same thing that makes everything else? Yes. But if I change that word to God, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't know where God is, and then we go on a big religious trip to try and find God. He's here. You're made of it. It's not complicated. You are part of this thing. But when we think about God, he's like him, that guy, that father figure. But Naam and Hukam is just this system that's going on all the time, and all you have to do is take a moment away from this stress of your mind to sit back, breathe, and feel it and think, actually, yeah, it is here, it's alive, and it's pretty amazing. So you have to understand that this is not me, this is you. Tu hi, and this is where Naam Simran comes in. You take a mantra and it allows you for just one moment to break away from this delusion that we're all walking around with. We're walking around with a delusion that I exist and I am something special. Naam is to take the song of the universe and you apply that song. This is why Gurbani is written in music. Because the whole universe is singing, so we take the songs of that sound of the universe and we vibrate with that sound. And so we use music and sound and song. And we hear the song of the universe, that's Naam. So words are very powerful. And it allows you to rise above your thoughts. Because your mind is constantly talking, there's a chatter going on all the time. It's always talking. And it's convincing you that this is your story. So a friend walks by and says, oh, I've not met that guy in a while. Somebody else walks by, you don't like them, and your mind starts saying, oh, I don't like him. The last time I met him, he said this to me, and he did that to me. So what your mind's constantly doing is like a defense mechanism. It's keeping the ego inside you, the homer, the I am. It's saying, no, don't go there, go there. It's like a system that's trying to delude you all the time. Naam Simran is to take the wisdom of the Guru, which we've just briefly touched upon today. Take that wisdom that this isn't about you, it's about the bigger story, and repeat that. And get yourself out of this mental disease that you exist, and that you're something special. And all of your suffering comes from this idea that I am. I only have to show you a person that you don't like. I don't even have to show you. I just say the name of someone you don't like and the emotions start coming. Oh, don't mention his name, oh, I don't like him. He did this to me. Okay, your emotions start changing. Why? I haven't brought the guy into the room, I just mentioned his name. Your mind is not in your control. And Naam is a mind control mechanism. Is a system that actually says, you know what, mind? You've got some uses, but I'm not your slave. I don't need to listen to everything that you say. There's a famous quote that says, don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything that goes on in here. It's just a bit of entertainment. You can switch it off sometimes. So Naam is like a bridge. Gurbani talks about Vadda Sahib, Ucha Thao, Uche Upur, Ucha Now. This life is amazing. This Sahib, this master that's in control is pretty amazing. It's here, it's everywhere. But even higher than this master that's in control is the name of it. Because when you remember it, it is that lifeline between you and that master. It is the thing that connects you and your understanding of this thing. So Naam is not just words. Naam is an ability for you to recognize this oneness that's in everything. And the Guru is a doctor, constantly giving you this medicine. But the Guru doesn't just give you the medicine. The Guru first explains to you what the problem is and then gives you the medicine. So when you're doing Naam Simran, you're no longer doing Naam Simran thinking, I am calling God. That's duality. I am calling God. No, I have to recognize that God has never left me. That the universe is God. That this oneness that's everywhere. And when I talk about the universe, I don't mean the planets and the stars. I mean the energy of the universe. And that's part of this body as well. Naam allows you to fix some of the problems. So what are the problems that we can fix with Naam? With Naam Simran, with Mantra? The problems that we talked about earlier, stress and anxiety. That's a big one. The reason that we have some of these problems is we're constantly searching for happiness. We're always looking outside for happiness. And when happiness doesn't come, we get stressed, we get anxious, we get worried. What am I going to do? Because that's the way I think the world should be, that's not happening. So one of the biggest problems is first we have this idea of how the universe should be. And we get stressed when it doesn't go that way. Naam is saying, Jyote Ahukam, it's okay. And you can use these mantras at any time because your stress has nothing to do with the outside world. It is all to do with your perception of the outside world. And so stress exists in the mind, so you're not going to fix that by fixing the outside world. You're going to fix it by fixing your mind. Change your mind, and the world around you will change. And Gurbani tells us this. Gurbani gives you a very clear understanding that you are responsible, your mind is causing all of your problems. Guru Amar Das Ji says, "E man, jaisa seve, taisa hove, tehe karam kamaye." What you serve is what you become. Aap beej, aape hi khavana, kehna kichu na jaye. What you sow is what you eat. The seeds that you sow will determine the fruits that you eat. If you sow the seeds of panic and stress, you will eat that fruit. So don't get surprised when you feel sad. Don't get surprised when you get angry and when you get stressed and when you get depressed. Because you have sown the worst seed. The seed is I am. This is my story and I am important. When you sow that seed, you're going to get bitter fruit. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is telling you to sow the seed of Naam, the new way of thinking. I'm an IT guy, right? So I always like to use IT analogies. I say that the mind and the ego, the self-identity, the I am, is like a virus in this hardware. Yeah? In this hard drive of the brain and the mind, there's like a virus. The software has gone wrong. Gurujis are reprogramming. You know, sometimes you have to clear out, like even your phone gets slow sometimes and you have to restart it. The Guruji is giving you this message and saying, reprogram your mind. Think in a different way. Naam is a reprogramming. And every time, it's like a little medicine, like a little pill that says, I was thinking the wrong way. When I think the right way, my problems go away. So Guruji, I'm going to try and now convert some of these messages, these beautiful words, into everyday mantras that we can use. So Guruji says, Jaisa seve, taisa hove. You know something that you can repeat to yourself? What I serve, I become. Remember that. What I serve, I become. What I sow, I receive. So anytime you feel stressed, remind yourself of what Guru Amar Das is saying. What I serve, I become. What I sow, I receive. That I'm planting the seed of this dukkha, and that's why I'm getting this dukkha. Dukkha means suffering. And how do we solve this problem? Guru Bani says, don't change the world, change your mind. Man jite, jag jeet. So here's another mantra that you can use. I change my mind, I change my world. And when I say mantra, I mean these are actual things that you can say to yourself whenever you start feeling that you're not dealing with the universe well. I change my mind, I change my world. I change my mind, I change my world. You just need to say that 5 or 10 times, and all of a sudden the message of the Guru starts sinking in. You say, okay, the problem isn't the guy that I don't like. My boss has walked in and I don't like him and he said this to me. That's not the problem. The problem is how you see the world. I change my mind, I change my world. I change my thoughts, I change my world. And the other thing, which is one of the biggest causes of our sadness, is that we resist what is happening. We're not able to accept the universe as it is. We have a grand plan about how the universe should be. And in everyday life, we think we're the ones that are going to tell the whole universe how the life should be. Gurbani says, life is happening whether you like it or not. And Guruji says the first thing that you need to understand is hukam. When you look at Gurbani and Guru Granth Sahib Ji, one of the first messages is deal with hukam. Give satyara hoye, give kure tute pal. How do I find the truth? Hukam razai jalana. Understanding that the universe is not at your beck and call. The universe is doing what it needs to do. It's like a wave that's going. It's like you're a little boat and you're telling the ocean where to go, which direction to blow the waves in. What can the boat do? Can't do anything. You can't do anything. So you start swimming in the other way. Imagine you're swimming against the current. Are you going to blame the current? Are you going to blame the river? If you're swimming in the opposite direction to the river, are you going to blame the river for not listening to you? Or is it you for trying to go against the river? How do you make your life easier? Go with the flow. Go in the direction that the river is already flowing in. Hukam razai chalana. Go the way hukam is already going, and you'll make your life so much easier. So accepting reality in most cases will solve our problems. But we get a lot of stress and anxiety because we don't accept reality. And reality doesn't have to be the big problems in life. It's like your everyday little things that happen in your life. If you just learn, if I can accept this moment, and if I don't just see this moment as a problem, I can see this moment as a blessing. And there's another mantra that you can use. This moment is grace. This moment is you. This moment is grace. This moment is you. This moment is you. You are your hukam. I don't have to look far to find God. This is God. God is right here. The universe is here. The flow of the universe is here. And I'll leave you with one final one. Guruji says, Akhan jiva visre mar jao akhan aukha sacha. Naam is pretty hard to remember. When I remember it, I rise. And when I forget, I fall. Do that in the mornings. Forgetting you, I fall. Remembering you, I rise. Akhan jiva visare maja. Remembering you, I rise. forgetting you, I fall. Imagine you just gave yourself some simple little mantras like this. And there's a reason why I'm doing this in English. It's okay to take what the Guru is saying and apply it in your life. In fact, it's encouraged. Don't worry if you can't read Gurbani, that will come. You should learn how to read Gurbani because all these jewels are in there. It's okay if it becomes a little bit difficult. Translate it, use it. Use what the Guru is teaching you in your life. Use these mantras, use these words. Jo tera hukam, every moment you could walk around and say, this is your grace, this is your hukam. It's okay. It's not about me, it's about you. So Sangatji, I hope you can see the kind of benefits we can get from Guru if we learn to apply what the Guru is saying in our everyday life. And this is what Guruji wants, is the Guru wants you to benefit from the wisdom. And it's not about some religion, it's not about changing the way you look, and it's not about making you do stuff that you don't want to do. It's about helping you with your everyday problems. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is the doctor. The Guru is the doctor. Mera Vaid Guru Govinda. Har har naam aukhad mukh deva. The Guru is the doctor and he gives you the medicine of Naam. And hopefully you can see that how powerful it is to transform your life with Naam.